take advantage of your opportunities and strike when they present themselves. Cavalry wearing all black, they attack from left to right in this first half. Atletico Ottawa starting from right to left, wearing red, white, and blue as we are underway. The Canadian Premier League and the Winnipeg Football Club would like to acknowledge that IG Field and the University of Manitoba campuses are located on the original lands of Anishinaabe, Cree, OG Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and on the homeland of the Métis Nation. We respect the treaties that were made on these territories, we acknowledge the harms and mistakes of the past, and we dedicate ourselves to move forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. Well, it's been a while since I've been able to say this. Great to be sharing the broadcast booth this evening with none other than Ian Hume. Ian, I appreciate you cleaning up the tissues, drying up your tears after a tough result earlier. Great to have you along once again. What are you looking forward to the most tonight between Cavalry and between Ottawa?
Just a desire to win. Cavalry have the opportunity to go up into second place. I think Ottawa needs to try and figure out that midfield. Like you said before, it's going to be a good battle in there. I think there's a bit more experience in the Cavalry midfield, which will be tough for Ottawa to get a grip of. But I'm just looking for a good game, to be honest. I've been out of the booth for a while. It's nice to be back, but back to call the game with yourself. I just want to see a good game of football and a good competition, because I know Ottawa's been struggling so far in the league, and I think they've got to start sooner rather than later, and hopefully it's tonight.
Well, this is a tough start to the Come On Match of the Week for Ali Moussi. Just mentioned his first start with the Cavs and goes down early. A challenge favoring his left ankle. Physio stays off for the time being. He's going to try and grind this one out. As Tommy Whelan Jr. looks on. Said it doesn't always have to be pretty. Sometimes you have to roll the sleeves up and be gritty as well. We think that Ottawa will be a tougher test the second time through, because now they've played us. Now they'll have a better understanding of how to prevent and how to penetrate.
Yeah, exactly what Tommy said there is, listen, football's a result-oriented game. You could play the worst game of your season and come away with 3-0, or you could play your best game and come away with a draw. So I think you'll have them knuckles down. You'll have them really, really pushing to just consolidate at the back, make sure everything's right. And they know that Ottawa will get the ball forward relatively quickly, because I know they've been struggling for possession. And with DTR in the midfield, they'll try and dominate there. And I think Tommy knows that he'll have them working hard, as he always does. He has the experience and the strength on the bench, so these guys will be running themselves into the ground.
Well, and for Atletico Ottawa, possession, as you mentioned, Ian, is going to be so important. It was just a 1-0 loss to Pacific their last time out, but they were hardly in the match. To be brutally honest, they took their opportunities, they defended for their lives, only conceded the one goal, but in the end, their attempts at offense were get the ball from Pacific and just hoof it down the pitch and chase after it. And they're going to have to be a lot more cohesive, a lot more fluid here today. And there's no doubt that even though there's a lot of different faces, some players that wouldn't perhaps start in a winner-take-all match for Cavalry, there's still some danger. Including Ahinga Selemani, who we've seen go off for a brace in one single half of football. So it's not going to be an easy day at all. But important to note, too, there's quality here. And of course, they're waiting for Alberto Soto. Still some delays with the ITC, but there's enough quality here that they can certainly give Cavalry a run for their money here tonight.
Exactly, and the way we started out the season was they're looking at this as a preseason. They're coming in to the end of their preseason now, so they should be firing on all cylinders. You've got additions coming into the group. Once that comes, hopefully you've got guys who claim their spots. There's only going to hopefully be a few spots, but if they don't start performing, then there's going to be loads and loads of spots up for grabs. And I think now you're coming up to the end of it. They need to really get themselves rolling in the league and get themselves off the bottom of the league, because it's not a nice place to be, and it could be a long way to go if you're starting to travel around and play in different cities.
Well, and of this tough spell for Otto Mista said that he thinks it's more mental, that they need to create the confidence themselves. When you lose a game, everything seems like it's wrong. Sometimes you make a mistake and lose the game and think everything is bad, but that's not the reality, and I think that's a good point. There, as much as Pacific kind of took it to them in their last match, they hung in there. Like one goal, one opportunity, a breakdown in the attacking third from Pacific's perspective, and they could be right at it. Vidi Martinez, we know he's got the quality to score some goals, so it'll be exciting to see how this game opens up. Nearly through 5 minutes, bit of a cagey opener. First couple of trips deep inside Ottawa territory, not bearing any fruit for the Cavs.
Yeah, Ottawa seems set in their shape, and I think that's it's gone to a standard 4-4-2 by the looks of it. But yeah, they're set in their shape. They're making themselves tough to beat, and I think that's important, especially when you're up against a team who is pushing towards the top of the league. And keep in shape and make them break you down, and you can't leave any room for error.
Well, it's a good effort from Klopp trying to pick out DKR. Richard Luca, the quick, shifty, and agile Brazilian on the wing, playing one inside, no one around. Clearance stays with Klopp, who's going to try a go. Dylan Powley, his first call to action, and he was ready for it.
Great wing play from Luca there, beating his man. He's sharp on the ground, and it's a tough one. Two strikers make the same run to the front post, so he didn't have anyone else to pick out, but it's a good bit of wing play, and unfortunately, great strike from Klump to hit the target.
Well, it was Verhoeven trying to pick out Chris Manella. That was read by the Dutchman, and within half a second, he decided he was going to shoot that ball. First shot on target of the match. Little flick from Verhoeven. Griffey Yao under pressure. And Yumi, I think that's a good shot as well. It's something of a 4-4-1-1 with Manella just in behind Malcolm Isaiah Shaw, who running about up top. And I think the important bits are going to come, especially on the counters. How quickly can the midfielders get up to join and help Manella out, help Shaw out, because the distribution is fine, but it's getting there and getting on the ball.
Exactly, and the last time they cleared the ball there and it goes into Verhoeven and he tries to flick it. When you're going to be under the cosh quite a lot, when you're not in possession, you really need to make the ball stick when it comes up to you. Verhoeven trying to flick it, I don't think Mister would have been happy seeing that.
It's a good ball ahead. Great idea, just trying to play with very little real estate, finding some space for DKR up the line.
Yeah, the turf's very unforgiving as well with the passes. Even a couple inches off, it's going to roll off in the direction you don't want it to go. And you'd think they'd be used to it by now, but still obviously pops up and it causes problems for anybody.
Well, not that Atletico Ottawa would be able to benefit from this fact, but Blue Bombers play here, so do Valor and Ottawa. It's the Red Blacks and Atletico Ottawa. The dimensions of the pitch are the same. The conditions are similar. Cavalry, of course, at Cofield at Spruce Meadows, getting new turf this offseason, so I'm sure the players are excited for that. And those night games under the lights at Spruce Meadows, you're going to be able to see the ball a little bit better with some upgrades to the lighting as well. And we'll be able to find out when you will be able to see your favorite clubs back in their home markets when the CPL releases the rest of the regular season schedule tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So I'm sure players, teams, fans, staff, everyone involved with this league cannot wait to put a circle on the calendar. I'm sure these guys will just throw it in their phone when they get it, set the alert and count down the days until they get to be back home. But it's going to be a pretty special moment. Looking forward to it.
That's it. And if they're able to have fans in, which I'm hoping, and it looks likely that they will be, they'll be great to be playing in front of their supporters. Being around your family members, I think that's a massive one. I know people look at it and think it's a minute thing, but for a player being away, especially for the Ottawa players who spent, 2 months in Spain and then they come here, I think getting home to their families and being able to go to their own bed and then go to train, I think it'll be a lot better for them, and I think they'll be buzzing over that.
And quarantine before you leave, quarantine when you get home, quarantine when you get to Manitoba, quarantine when you get home again. Like, it's tough on these guys. There's no two ways about it. And I mean, Marco Bustos is a special player, but he has mom and dad in the crowd last night. I'm pretty sure they were the only supporters in the 33,000 capacity IG field. He scores a brace for them, and he points to his jersey after goal number 2 at the last name for mom and dad, who obviously, like so many of these players, their families sacrificed so much to help them get to where they are. So I'm sure it makes a difference, and it was pretty special last night, and we'll have more of those hopefully as things start to return to normal, knocking on wood. And you also know that a sign of things are starting to get back to the way they used to be when Cavalry supporters and fans in Calgary may not be able to make the game tonight because of the Stampede. So that's a pretty grade A sign that things are starting to feel a little bit more normal. So if you're taking a break from Stampede, we appreciate you spending some time and your evening with us. It is a turnover from their Cavs. Luca, diagonal pass looking for Musi, too far in front of him. It looks no worse for wear after that knock to his ankle early in the match.
Yeah, with things like you said, opening up. It'll be great for the Ontario teams to get back here. We're going into stage 3 this week. So they'll be able to come back, they'll be able to get the proper training, which they weren't able to do before they went out to Winnipeg. They'll be on their facilities that they've used for the last, well, at least for last year and the year before. So no, it's a big time for Canadian soccer, and it's a big time for the league as they're getting over this, and it's an incredible facility that they're using. The teams are enjoying it and doing so well, but it would be great for them to get home, and the league will actually expand back to what it was and what it was planned out to be.
Well, 10 minutes have been played, still just the one shot on target. Came from Dan Klomp a few minutes ago. In the meantime, each side getting their feet for Cavalry. The players getting the start tonight, getting used to the action, trying to adjust to the heat as well, no doubt. But this is the 5th match for both sides. So what that means, they've played the 4 teams that they're going to see for the first time. They've got the results. You were wondering what things might look like the second time around. A lot of people, especially today, thought that perhaps Forge, Beckett, seemingly like they're firing on all cylinders and back at it, might be able to solve Valor. Not the case. And we'll be interested to see how it goes here today between Ottawa and Cavalry. Last time through was a brace for Selemani. Laturi and Simmons also scoring for the Calgary outfit. Two center backs working about. Some time, some touches for Karifa Yao. And Laturi. David Norman Jr. back in the fold as well for Tommy Wheeldon Jr. Getting the start after being cautious with a knock he picked up a few matches ago. Sure was a exciting day for the Cavs as well, with Joe Mason and Oliver Minitel arriving in the bubble, joining the team. Obviously 2 guys that you know that Cavalry supporters are just itching to see. So they joined the squad today. They'll start training tomorrow, and I'm sure as soon as they're physically ready, mentally ready, that Tommy Wheeldon Jr. will have no problem giving them their Cavalry debuts, and the rejoin for Oliver Minitel.
Yeah, it'd be great to see him back. I know it was a tough way to finish last year, and obviously a long road to recoveries. Obviously got himself in the right frame of mind, the right fitness level, so Tommy Wheeldon Jr. and the team will be buzzing to have him back, but I'm really, really excited to see Joe Mason come out. I obviously played against him years ago, and seen the quality that he brought to the English game, playing for Cardiff, and did so well for Cardiff. I think if he's here and he's in the right mindset, I think he'll offer so much to not just Cavalry, but to the league, and I think he's a very, very big coup for the division, for the league.
Well, he's the only player to score a goal in a League Cup final. Also, of course, helping Cardiff City get their promotion to the Premier League. And I'm sure he has high aspirations as well here in Cavalry. And Tommy was telling me before the match as well that they were able to check in on the Euro action, of course, England and Italy. Tommy Wheeldon Jr., Martin Alex Potts as well in their sports science department. Leon all with English heritage, and they got they got the short end of the stick, I should say, by Carducci and Di Chiara, who I'm sure were very, I don't even want to say generally, they let their staff and teammates know who won that game. Of course, proud of their Italian heritage. And I told Tommy, I said, I think 3 points will be the only thing that'll bring you some solace here tonight if you can get them.
Yeah, I know Di Chiara would have said something for sure. Carducci, I don't know, but I think Di Chiara for sure would have made sure his voice was heard. Obviously, his family being from where is it? I think it's Richmond Hill they're from, or from Vaughan. They'll be massively enjoying the night, like the rest of Woodbridge and Windsor and big parts of Ontario.
Yes, Richmond Hill, where Di Chiara is from, I'm sure. I don't think the horns have stopped honking. On the way into the studio, I must have counted like 14 trucks on the highway with 8 Italian flags out the window, and it's one of the things we love about this game. Once again, Luca in a dangerous area trying to cross it in. Catches the hand of Miguel Acosta and wins the set piece for the Cavs. It might be a bit harsh. That's not necessarily in a natural position.
I think possibly ball to hand from about 4 feet fired at him is a tough one to get out the way of. You always run the risk when you have your arms up. I know it's not too detached from his body, but either way, it's a free kick or a corner, so you're going to defend it relatively the same way.
Well, David Norman Jr. is there with the Brazilian. An option with the left foot, an option with the right foot. Dylan Powley and the Ottawa goal has his wall set up. And it is Norman Jr. to take. Goes himself. It was on target, but it wouldn't matter in the end. As Selemani was called for the foul just beside the penalty spot, so that halts any danger, though Powley was ready for it. And I think an important thing here, Ian, and we're not going to prognosticate after a quarter of an hour, try and look into the crystal ball, but let's say worst case scenario for Ottawa, they don't come away with a point. I think they need to see the signs of the offense starting to come together. Only 24 shots, period, in this tournament. Only 7 of them on target. They're the only team in single digits in that category.
Yeah, I think it's tough for them because the way they're playing, the counter-attack football. I think that's a soft foul there.
I agree. That's 2 in a row against Otto Kapor. Those are just heavy challenges that are timed well from our perspective. But please carry on, Ian.
No. I think it's a tough one for them with the way they're playing and the way they've set out this game. They sit back and they allow a lot of pressure, and then they hope for the counter-attack with the pace that they've got up front. And if you're not in the game and you're not able to get good possession of the ball, it's tough to really get loads of shots off. I know Mister will be disappointed with the amount. I think he's got other things he needs to sort out first, and giving away soft free kicks, giving away constant set pieces, and I think getting to a point where they stop allowing teams to dominate games. And I think so far Cavalry in possession have done that, and like you're saying the other day, Pacific did the exact same thing. So you've got to get over that hurdle first before you concentrate and worry about the shots.
Well, David Norman Jr. tried literally the exact same thing. This time there was no foul to end that set piece opportunity for Cavalry, but Powley once again was probably like, really? We literally just did this. And once again, that's a stop for Powley. That'll be counted as the second shot on target for the Cavs. This is better as Manila plays it forward. Vidi Martinez in behind Kaiser. Is Nunez going to have enough to get there? No. First touch was fine, but didn't get it clean, and that's obviously tricky too with a second patch of turf right towards the end of the byline.
Yeah, it's the right idea, right idea, getting it in behind the fullback, but unforgiving turf. The ball just bounces and bounces and bounces, and it didn't slow up at all for him. And it's a bit disappointing because it's the first time they've actually got themselves in a position to counterattack with numbers rather than 1s and 2s. And they'll be looking at seeing that as a weakness if they can find Kaiser out of position. They might be able to utilize that space a little bit more.
Well, back the other way once again. Richard Lucas sprung. Again, he's got to step on Acosta. This time, the Spaniard able to recover in time, sends it away for a throw-in. I think the 23-year-old from Madrid is going to have his handful with Richard Luca as long as that matchup is present.
Yeah, he's a bit of a live wire. He's one of those diminutive old-fashioned wingers.
Selemani, pass Kapor, centering pass, falls for Dichiara on the half volley, doesn't get enough of it cleanly. Goal kick to come, but you see in a broken down play, and Cavalry once again right there in the box, ready to fire.
Exactly. Dichiara is on the front foot on the edge of the box, and this for sure is from Selemani, but if I'm Muse, I'm asking him to lay that ball there. Okay, he's on his wrong foot. I think he's got every right to have a shot, but I've got to ask that question. If I'm in a better position, maybe he can lay me in. But it's good signs for Cavalry. They're on the front foot on the edge of the box. They're causing problems.
Well, Brandon John was the Atletico Ottawa defender to get in the way and add a bit more pressure. That split-second decision from Jody Kiar. Already in the 20th minute.
See, this is exactly it. You're sitting here looking and they're staying in shape. I'd love to see the back line of Ottawa step up. Not play offside, but step up a little bit and push the midfield on. Because you've got Martinez there all alone. You got McKendry and Manella trying to close down and close the gap between Malcolm Shaw and the rest of the team. But then you got Martinez on his own. I'd love to see him release Manella to go and maybe help Shaw right up front and close down the gap and stop them dominating, because when a team gets a possession for long enough, they become overly comfortable and they start trying that worldy pass, and that's when you get caught out. And I think Cavalry are getting overconfident with the ball now, and it's only going to spell problems for Ottawa.
Well, and then the unforced errors like we just saw from Ottawa certainly doesn't help the cause. Diagonal pass out towards Farsi. Quickly tried to play it away was Becky. Farsi gets on the end of it, as he is right now. Two Cavalry center backs slowing things down.
Yeah, that's it again. Like, look, they're giving the whole back four the opportunity. I know he's trying not to get opened up, but if they move as a group, I think they'll close that down. You've got with David Norman Jr. dropping in, they're essentially playing 3 against Shaw up front, and it's going to be near impossible to win the ball back without giving away fouls and winning it in a tackle and losing possession directly. I think something needs to be changed here, because it's looking far too comfortable for Cavalry in possession.
Zach Verhoeven, the latest culprit. 6th foul conceded. That's a long through ball. Has been aside from turnovers, that has been the extent of the Cavalry chances, with the exception of a great individual effort from Richard Luca. And they turn it over once more. Laturi and Manella, 1v1. Touch on for DKR, once again back for Luca. Daniel Kaiser jumps in to join the fray. Shaw, good hustle to win that ball. Counterattack on display now for Ottawa. At least the counterattack had the opportunity, Ian, to be on display for Ottawa. It's recycled back for Powley.
Yeah, they're like I said before, when they do get the opportunity to counterattack, it's in ones and maybe twos. They're not able to do it as a group. And the difference is, and you see the way the teams are set up now, Ottawa's in possession, but look at the number of Cavalry players that are in their face. They're not allowing them to control the ball and keep possession for 20, 30, 45 seconds, whatever. They're all in position, and one pass, and Cavalry's on their heels. And I think that's the difference, is you see Luca now will step into play, and he'll close down the gap, or you have Selemani come across. And I think that's the complete difference. I think there's organization differences, and this isn't a hit at the coaching of it. I think the players need to buy into working together, and I think one team has obviously been together for 3 years, yes, and you can see that the majority of them, or numbers of them, have, and then you've got one team that's been thrown together.
Well, this is an opportunity for some time on the ball in the attacking third for Ottawa. It's Miguel Acosta. Cross is blocked by Kaiser. He'll take this throw from immediately to the right of the near side corner flag, deep inside the Caps territory. Acosta, one of just 2 goal scorers for Atletico Ottawa on the season, with he and Vidi Martinez, but those goals came in the first and second matches respectively. Acosta scoring against these Caps. Brandon John outside, settled down. Nunez. Kaiser comes over for the block. Support coming from Acosta.
It's better from Ottawa. They're getting the ball wide, get it into the box. You got numbers in there.
Well, it is Ben McKendry now. Verhoeven closest to, and this Ottawa build will fizzle out.
It's a lot better from them there. I think I'd like to see them try and cross from more of a wide position. When you try to cross from straight, your ball's got to be perfect, run's got to be perfect. That's where you tend to get a lot of offsides or overhit balls. I think they had the ball out wide 2v1. Love to see them deliver when they had 3 people in the box.
Well, it's very interesting to note, too, when Ottawa has the time on the ball, Ian, and Cavalry's forced to set up a defensive structure, how quickly it becomes a back 5, and they just flatten out, take away all the areas, and then it's up to Ottawa to navigate their way through. And with Cavalry being as quick as they are and willing to press when needed, immediately time on the ball disappears.
Yeah, Tommy Wilton Jr.'s got them very, very well drilled. And when you've got players like DiChiara in there, you've got obviously your Nick Ledgerwoods have been around, your Traffords, you've got guys there. Dan Klomp obviously running the back line very well. You've got a group of players who are round pegs, round holes, and you can see that they know exactly where they need to be when they're out of possession. And it's a lot better from Ottawa as of the last 5-10 minutes. I think Cavalry still look comfortable, but Ottawa's getting a little bit more of a grip hold in the game, and it's been a better little spell for them.
Carducci finally getting a touch here in the 25th minute.
Are you guys done? You guys are done, right? We're done. We're done.
Intercepted. Verhoeven comes out to challenge Farsi. Heavy touch, and that's an easy foul. Farsi puts his hands up. He knows he's caught.
It's going to be foul. I think he had cover there. And rightfully yellow card. But better from Verhoeven getting in his face as soon as he gets the ball. I think that's where they're going to get their joy from, is if they press up as a team like I think they have done over the last 5 or so minutes. And it's a better spell for Ottawa, and it's a rightful booking for Mo Farsi, unfortunately.
First booking of the season for Mo. DiChiara and Ledgerwood both on 2. Time for the team lead. 4, of course, get you a one-match ban here in the CPL. Humi, how's your Spanish?
I understand a little. I understand little bits of what I can hear from the coach. Not enough. I understood enough to get me by on the field.
Nunez going over the top of the Cavalry back line after Mestad showed his instructions, and that's a great turn for Martinez. Klomp immediately reads, comes out. This is better pressure. That's a mistake that Ottawa forces, and now they're going to reap the benefits of it.
Yeah, it's a great bit of skill from Martinez there. Didn't have the legs to get to it, but continued pressing when Kaiser was in possession, and it's a lot better. They look more on the front foot at the moment, and I think that's something that the first 15 minutes or so they were very, very much on their heels and backing off of Cavalry, but now getting into the backs of them and letting them know that they're actually in a game now.
Well, Salamani went clean through McKendry. Shaw battles to get it back for Atletico Ottawa. Time for the captain, Milovan Kapoor. Toronto, Ontario native, 29 years old, second season now in the CPL, coming over from Uzbekistan in their top flight. Quickly, decision had to be made by Salamani, and it was a good one to extend this possession. Mosi down and towards Laturi. John slips, but that's because Laturi had a fistful of his jersey and gave him enough of a tug.
Quite like Laturi when I've seen him play. He's full of energy, always seems to be getting in people's faces and breaking up play. And when you've got players alongside you with Ledgerwoods and DiChiaras and obviously your Escalantes and Camargo, and you break up the play, allows these players to excel in what they're good at. Laturi's a very, very important cog to that machinery that Tommy Wheeldon's got going.
Well, I think what I've been impressed with too from him, this is now his second stint with the Cavs, obviously still a very young man. When he goes back to the Mount Royal Cougars, Canada West, better look out that conference, because I can imagine what playing professionally can do for your confidence, and that's a really cool opportunity with those youth sports developmental contracts. But I've loved his versatility. Subs come on, Tommy's still got Laturi on the pitch, he can slide him, and he answers the call wherever he's asked to play, and I think that just shows his IQ, his mentality, and his understanding already of this system for the Cavs.
Yeah, he's done well. Obviously, the last game I did with you here, he was a standout. He's been since I've not been in the box, he's been standout. He's been in the team. He's been chopping and changing his team, Tommy Wheeldon, and like you said, he seems to be there. So he's got something different about him, something special that the rest of them haven't got. It's great to hear that he's doing it at such a young age.
Well, the clock has struck 30 minutes from IG Fields. First corner of the match for Atletico Ottawa. It was Kaiser, I believe, first to get ahead too. Now out with Vidi Martinez. Pressure applied immediately by Dan Klump. Running on, Luca wins the ball. Is he fouled? Yes, he is. That'll be booking number 2 of the match, I believe, as Rudolph reaches for his pocket. And the Cavs physio being called in to have a look at the young Brazilian.
Yeah, Costa's just a tad late. That's just a circumstantial thing. Luca's that quick. He's just rapid over short spaces, and Costa was just a millisecond late, and it did look a bit of a painful one.
Booking number 2 as well for Miguel Acosta on the season for Atletico Ottawa. First yellow card of the match comes in the 31st minute. It is also bringing us to our hydration break, the first of 2, obviously, with temperatures as warm as they are in Winnipeg. Ian, I'll get your thoughts on the first 30 minutes or so after a quick break. Well, I'll give you the Adam Jenkins Coles notes. Great start for Cavalry. Ottawa looking a little bit more dangerous and dynamic in the last 10 or 15 minutes or so. That's why we have you and your big brain in here to expand on that and add some context. Please and thank you, Ian.
Big head, yes. Brain will be questionable.
I said brain, hey.
I know. No, it's, yeah, first 15, 20 minutes was very, very comfortable for Cavalry. They dominating possession. They're moving the ball around the back. Ottawa's allowing them to do it, and rightfully got themselves in a bit of trouble getting in behind. I think the last maybe 10 minutes, Ottawa's really stepped up. They've really probably moved up the field maybe 10, 15 yards, and they're putting more pressure on Cavalry, and it's not as easy for them to play across the back and through the midfield. And I think Manella is getting up there, and Martinez and McKendry are pushing him on to help out with Shaw, and Verhoeven and Nunez have pushed on out wide, and making it a little bit more difficult and uncomfortable for Cavalry in possession. And I think it's reaping its rewards. We've had our first corner, we've had 3-4 balls in the box. Okay, we've still not had a shot, but the plus signs are there, and you're seeing what Ottawa need to do to break down this Cavalry team. Like we've spoke about, they are very well drilled, but they do have holes that can be exploited if Ottawa do the things that have been working the last 10 minutes. Well,
and that's why I think it's so interesting what Tommy had said, that now this is the second time through, and in such a short window. I mean, they played on, I believe it was the 30th of June. Like it was not that long ago, less than 2 weeks ago. So it's fresh in their memories, as is a lot of the teams right now. But having said that, you get that response, and I think what's been interesting too is it's been a relatively quiet start for Martinez. I think he's been relatively quiet, to be honest, the past 2 times he's been back in the fold, but when they're unlocked, he's on the ball. The last possession inside the attacking third, Martinez is there. He's drifted to the left. He's involved. He's creating. He's using his length, his footwork, and his just technical ability to get involved. And I think he's one of the keys to unlock this offense for Ottawa.
Yeah, and that's why he's been brought in. Like, to be honest, he's been brought in for his ability. I think you'll find him drifting away from Laturi. I think you'll want him to not be around the legs and the energy of him, because he's maybe a little bit slower as far as his movement is. He's got the ability and the quality, but I think when he's under big pressure is when you don't get the best out of him. So I think you'll find him drift onto maybe DiChiara and or David Norman and try and get on the ball. But it has been a lot better 10 minutes from Ottawa, and it does coincidentally come from Martinez getting on the ball and Manella going up and helping Shaw play.
Well, there's no doubt that Vidi Martinez misses having Ryan Telfer about on international duty with Trinidad and Tobago right now in Group A of the Gold Cup, and heck of a result yesterday for the Soca Warriors, a 0-0 draw with the Mexicans. And this is going to be the best opportunity of the match thus far, and it's just a hustle play. Shaw barrels his way down, and knocking on the door, Ottawa has a set piece. Very clever from him as well, because he's running into a back four.
And Selemani, he's chased back. He's obviously made mistakes to lose possession, but Shaw's done very, very well there to keep possession and obviously get this set piece, because he could have easily run down a blind alley into the back four of Calvary and give away possession. But a little bit clever from him, and now set piece and an opportunity for Ottawa again.
Well, and just to complete that thought on Telfer, comes on as a substitute in the 64th minute and helps record the clean sheet against a very dangerous L3 and gives Trinidad and Tobago a fighting shot in Group A. So I think it's got to be an interesting dynamic right now for Ottawa supporters who clearly miss him but are happy to see him succeed on the international scene as well. So you don't want to do too well so he's not gone for too long, but know that he'll come back with that experience under his belt, and he'll be ready to help out this team once again, because he started really well in that opening match. Here's McKendry standing over the ball. Bit of a false start. Ottawa will reset under 10 minutes of the 45. It's a gentle little chip over top, headed on. That was placed in the exact perfect location. Ian, as a former striker, I'm sure your eyes just lit up right there.
See, that's the one thing. I'll want my center back to be heading that, but if I'm the striker, I'm attacking the far post, I want him heading that right about. That's a tap-in. It should be a free header back across goal, tap-in for your striker. It's a great delivery from McKendry. But if you see Kapoor there, if that's headed back across, that's a tap-in for Kapoor. And I think he'll be very disappointed in himself there. It's a free header. That's got to go back across, and I know he's attempted it. I think he was expecting a little bit more of a fight from the Calvary defender, but hey, signs are there. Set pieces. It seems like a little bit of a weak link in the Calvary chain, and I think Ottawa will be looking to draw a few more of those.
Well, here is Dan Klomp starting things off once again for Ottawa. Ian Kaiser connecting, and then Luca had dropped back to provide a short outlet pass, and Klomp had gone over the top like he just did over the top of Malcolm Shaw. Picks up a foul for his efforts.
Yeah, that's one of those. Depends on the position on the pitch you play when you're commenting or seeing about the. For me, it's a foul all day, because Shaw's trying to do his job and hold it up. He's planted his feet. He's trying. Klomp, every center back will be shouting, "Oh, I had to jump. He didn't jump with me." It's one of those. It can be given either way, and I think Klomp has to go and win it like that. And you like to see that aggression from your center backs, but I think it's great center forward play from Shaw.
Well, it's been a long time since I refereed in the Quinte West Minor Soccer Association, but from that time, I always remember you're entitled to your space directly above you. If Klomp jumps straight up and not over and on top of him, then they let those go. But you're right, whether the center back or the forward is going to have two different opinions. And another collision, it's going to be a sore one. Carducci able to get up. It was Verhoeven just charging in, trying to get on the end of a really nice pass, but it was well read by Carducci.
Verhoeven got lucky there. He's lucky he didn't get a knee from Carducci, and that's unfortunate. It does happen. If he challenges him there and jumps to try and head the ball, I think he has a better, and I think he actually has an opportunity heading it there. Pulling out of a tackle, majority of the time you end up getting injured. So that's an experience that he's going to feel it in a couple seconds here, because he did get cleaned out by a goalkeeper, but that's something that comes with a bit of experience, and you just make sure the goalkeeper feels you coming.
David Norman Jr. in the center of the park, worked out to the left. Laturi. Norman Jr. back for Klomp. Now Di Chiara on the near side touchline. Kaiser able to find Luca. Shimmies and shakes. Top of the box, runs back out, runs out of room. Still on the ball, turning, firing off the post. Luca from a long way away.
What an effort that is, by the way. Great feat to create the space. And it's funny because I think Di Chiara was about to argue with him, demote at him for shooting and not passing, because he was open quite a few times. But it's a great connection. And yeah, the goalkeeper had no chance there. If that's 6 inches in, that's an incredible goal.
Well, as Austin Ricci reminded us today, Valor versus Forge, is that we only score worldies here in the Canadian Premier League. I pity those who have to vote on goal of the year later on this season, because there have been several here at the kickoff that have just been beyond what you'd expect for teams still finding their feet early in their season, and Richard Luka nearly added his name to that list as well.
Yeah, he's been a live wire. He's definitely a threat down that right side for Cavalry, and I just like to see him, like we spoke about the last time we called the Cavalry game. Like to see them get their wingers into play a bit more, and lo and behold, when we did, Escalante whipped it in for Camargo back post. And I think the same thing with Luka here. Get him involved. He's got his tail up. And
lots of great feet from Dikiar to spring Kaiser. Back with Luka again. Moves it to his left. And that could be a shout for penalty. Musi dragged down. Not enough for Yusri Rudolph to give it.
A lot of screams there. Wondering whether there's actually something in it. Bit of experience from Drew Becky there. I think he just got his body across.
Well, what can you spot here, Ian, if anything?
Not much. It's
tangled feet.
Yeah, Becky's not even looking at the ball. I think Musi's just got across him, and he's making a meal of it for me, if you ask. His scream was louder than the tackle, so right position for him though. He's getting in the back post, and obviously Becky had something to worry about there, but there's nothing in that, and I think the referee made a great no call.
Well, based on that reaction from Drew Becky, he would agree with you. And Richard Luka really rewarding his head coach, giving him his first start with Cavalry, and he has been the spark plug, the fire, everything for the most part on this Cavalry attack down the right side. This time it's Stelemani. Haven't had to call his name in a while. Turning around Kapoor. Joe Dikiar was running on. Leaves it for Luka. Return feed. Great little spot of Kaiser. Crosses it in. Not enough on it. Scooped up and dribbled away from Ottawa.
Better play, better interlinking play from Cavalry there, and Luka obviously has Ottawa defense worried about him because they know he can beat them one-on-one. So they're dropping off and giving him space, and nice little third-man run from Kaiser.
Kripiau, he's liked what he's seen from this right side, so why not pick out Luka again? Acosta doesn't take any chances, heads it away quickly. Decision from Gabriel Lemieux was a goal kick.
Yeah, for me, with Acosta being on a booking and Luka being full of energy and full of confidence, I would just feed him. He can have an all-you-can-eat buffet here. I just keep giving him the ball and just let him get at Acosta, because he's going to cause problems. If he leaves a dangling foot, could be off. If not, he'll get skinned, and he got opportunities and crosses in the box and everything.
Well, I think the scary element from an Ottawa defensive perspective is that the left side of the pitch has been quiet for Cavalry, which means Mo Farsi has fresh legs. So run Luka until he can't run anymore, and then you have one of the more dangerous players, one of the best young Canadians in the league, ready to go. And of course, a pretty stacked bench on the Cavalry touchline, should Tommy want to tinker with this 11 down the stretch here. Just the final couple of minutes of the first half before any added time. Dikiar heavy off the chest. McKendry. Becky starts a run. Farsi turns on those Jets. It's Becky that gets there first, but Farsi gets a hold, reclaims possession for Cavalry. Inside the 45th minute now, scoreless in this opening half. Cavalry and Atletico Ottawa. Great to have you along on One Soccer, as well as on the Fox Sports family as well. It's Adam Jenkins and Ian Hume in the broadcast booth with you this evening. Great bit of defensive work from Ben McKendry that time. Laturi with Farsi. Verhoeven, good challenge, doesn't foul. David Norman Jr.
Good decision there, David Norman. He could have easily looked up and tried to zing it 60 yards, but thought keep possession. Look at the clock. He knows the last minute or so.
Well, we'll find out right now, or in the next 10 seconds or so, from Fabrizio Stas, the fourth official, how much time will be added on. Of course, you get the hydration break. You got a couple of injuries, but nothing too substantial. Can't imagine we'll be seeing more than a couple. It is 3 minutes indeed from the fourth official. The home stretch of this opening half of football on a Sunday evening in Winnipeg. Slowly working their way down on the edge of the attacking third are Atletico Ottawa. Nearly 1 minute through. Tommy's in shorts today, so he can get out there and pass the ball around if he needs to. Acosta over for Verhoeven, trying to find Martinez. That was read from the get-go by Selemani. Can't clear, and look who goes up for it. And I think I'm going to need to see another look at this one, Ian Hume.
I'm confused. He's 100% just won the ball. I don't understand how that's a foul on Luca by any stretch of the imagination there. I think if anything, McKendry's maybe refused to jump, but I don't see why he doesn't need to blow his whistle.
Look, you know, I'm always going to defend the guy who's 5'4" in this situation. Like, he jumps towards McKendry, there's no doubt, but to me, I think it's harsh as well.
Yeah, thing is, it's hard to run and slam on the brakes and jump directly up. Jump just vertically. You have to jump with some sort of forward movement.
Well, McKendry playing it in. It's Norman Jr. who goes up to get it first. Vinny Martinez. Manella. High ball. Kapoor's there. Shaw's there. It's Klopp, the first to get ahead to it. 2 minutes down of the 3 minutes of added time here in the first half. Do we have a goal before the break?
Very commanding header from Klomp there. Broke up that set piece. That was a decent little ball in from Chris Manella, but center backs just eat those up when they've got too much air under them.
Well, I think those are important ones too. It's just like, okay, I've seen enough of this. Away you go. It's just it's a way of sending a message that, okay, we're spending a little bit more time towards Carducci than we'd like to. Let's get this away from him. With under 30 seconds, Karifa Yao finds Klomp. Kaiser. Acosta couldn't field it cleanly. Kapoor out. Doing his best to keep up with Lucas, spinning him around like a washing machine.
Yeah, it's been a very, very good half from Luca. I think he's got all the tricks. I know sometimes the tricky wingers have off days and they get questioned about why they overplay, but then they have days like this where everything they feel that they do is right and it works. And I think he's really grown into this half, and I think the last 15-20 minutes he's really been a thorn in the Ottawa sides.
Well, and credit to Ahinga Selemani as well to put himself completely parallel to the ground, try and get a piece of it. It was the last scoring opportunity of this opening 45. Their first meeting, heading into the locker rooms, it was 2-1 after Selemani had 2 goals. And then it was shutdown mode down the stretch for Cavalry. It's a different story here today. A good start for the Cavs, a fast start for the Cavs.